Good evening. What is it? It's Sunday, the 23rd of July, 23, and it's just me tonight. Paul's not feeling too well this evening. It's going to be my last one just for a few days. I'm away. I'm actually away end of next weekend, so I won't be back until like Thursday, the 3rd or something like that. But anyway, for now, let's have a look at the latest rainfall because we are experiencing a little bit of flooding actually in the north today. So I'll just get the screen share up, just get the latest radar from windy.com. Let's get my ugly mug off the word live. There we go. So what we've got at the moment is this band of rain affecting northern areas, and we've got this line going through this area here of precipitation. It has been quite heavy. Let's roll it on from the last hour or so. So it's been stuck in the northern England for, all day really. But in the last hour or two, it's showing signs of actually starting to move towards the southeast. And this whole band overnight will start to push southeastwards. Then it should clear into the North Sea during the early hours. So let's have a look, zoom in actually on this band here. So it's affecting areas just south of the board now. If we can see, that's moved away from like Carlisle and Penrith and Hexham, and I'll probably say in the next couple of hours or so start to move out of Sunderland. So it starts to move towards the east-southeast. And if you follow the cricket, it has actually stayed over the Manchester area all day and has actually had no play over Old Trafford for the final day of today's cricket. But that band of rain is starting to slowly migrate east-southeastwards. This line here has formed in the last hour or so. I can't do that unless I've subscribed. So let's try to take that off the screen there. He says. There's no X on that at all. Just bear with me. I can't seem to clear it. Just bear me a second, guys. For some reason, it's not come off the screen there. Will that work? Okay. How am I going to take this off the screen? Just bear with me a second. It's one of those stubborn banners that I can't seem to clear off the screen at the minute. Wish I never clicked into that now. Oh, that's done that. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's just how it formed over the last 2 or 3 hours, and it's just been sitting around the same area. So if you're under that little heavy precipitation band there, you'll probably know about it, given like a sharp burst of rain in a short period of time. And we've got a few showers a bit further towards the south there, more in a line there. Got one from northwest London through into southwest England. Let's zoom out of there a bit. Not that far, but there we go. Let's roll that on the loop. What's wrong with me? I've gone blank all of a sudden then. Let's have a look at the satellite actually from windy.com. So we can see that band of cloud extending through northern areas further south, say from around about North Midlands southwards. It's more clearer. It's been quite warm as well. Let's bring up see if we can bring up the latest temperatures. So temperatures across the UK, especially down the southeast, have been into the low 20s. Currently around about 21 in central London at the moment. So we push into the Midlands at 18 degrees. Then when we start getting into this rain, it's quite depressing really for middle of summer, about 15, 14, 13 degrees there. A bit warmer down towards the southeast, East Anglia, where we've had some of that sunshine today. Temperatures around Norwich at 21 degrees at the moment. But as I mentioned, this rain band is expected to move through overnight. But before we'll have a look what happens overnight, let's have a look at the latest flood maps. So we currently have 4 flood warnings in force and 35 flood alerts. So let's have a look at the 4 flood warnings for which locations. This is from the Environment Agency, which you'll find at gov.uk. So flood warnings, flooding is expected at 4 acres and Crescent at Mughal, Knowlbeck at Manvers, I hope I pronounced that correctly, River Darwen at Higher Walton, around that Higher Walton Road, Darwen Street and Higher Walton Mills, and River Douglas at Parbold along the river bank of the river downstream of the Canal Bridge. And currently I've got 34 flood alerts. I'll quickly run through them. The Earby Beck catchment, Ings Beck and Openshaw Beck, Loughborough urban watercourses and local tributaries to the River Sower, the lower Derwent in Derbyshire, the lower River Calder catchment, the lower River Douglas, lower River Irwell catchment, including areas in Greater Manchester, the lower River Ribble and Darwen, the lower River Sower in Leicestershire, lower River Tees and Estuarine tributaries, lower River Wye, the middle River Mersey catchment, including areas near Bramhall, Stockport, Sale, Altrincham and Urmston, Middlesbrough Becks, River Alt, Formby and Huyton, River Bolling catchment, including Knutsford, Wilmslow, Maxfield and Bollington, the River Colne and Ferny Beck catchments, the River Dearne catchments, the River Ditton catchment, including areas around Horton with Roby and Widnes, the River Holme catchments, River Kennet and its tributaries from Berwick, Bassett down to Newbury, River Lean, Daybrook and Tottlebrook in Nottinghamshire, River Lowestock and River Yarrow, River Morning, Nottinghamshire, River Sankey catchment with St Helens and Warrington, the River Severn catchment, River Stour and Smeesdale Brook in the Black Country in South Staffordshire, the River Wye in Derbyshire, Stone, Trent, tributaries in North Derbyshire, the Upper River Aire catchment, the Upper River Calder catchment, Upper River Derwent, Stonewhite, Beck and Derwent Water, Upper River Douglas and Upper River Irwell catchments with Oldham, Bolton, Rochdale, Haslingden, Ramsbottom and Raltonstall. Hope I pronounced that one correctly. And the last 24 hours for been removed for the River Calder, East Lancashire, the River Dart area, River Wye at Kirkland Bridge, and the Upper River Wye at Brock. That was a lot more I expected to read out then. So yeah, it's no surprise really with all that rain that we've currently got. Some of this rain's been persistent all day, and I'm guessing that some rainfall totals may have exceeded that 40 to 50 millimetres easily in some areas. So let's see what's causing this at the moment by looking at the latest facts charts, which you'll find at netweather.tv. And it's this culprit just here, which has been sat across northern areas all day today. But this, as I mentioned, is starting to move its way towards the southeast in the next 6 to 12 hours. Then by tomorrow lunchtime is expected to be affecting parts of the English Channel area, so there might be some legacy of that rain towards the south coast, but at least it's moving its way out to northern areas, giving those areas a bit of time to dry out a little bit. But unfortunately, if you have to dry weather, please look away now, because we get a bit of a dry interlude through tomorrow. Just a slight ridge of a high pressure across the UK through Monday. Still can't rule out a few showers. And we've got another feature coming into northern Scotland there for Tuesday. These will bring possible areas of showers. Then if we have a look at what's waiting the wings out towards the west, and it's more weather fronts with our name on it coming into the UK on Wednesday. Brief ridge of high pressure before it arrives, but I think timings will be crucial when this will pass through. So we've got another trailing weather front across the UK on Wednesday, giving spells of rain or showers. Another cold front comes through on Thursday, which will clear during the afternoon. And there'll be like a westerly there connected to this low here. That might be the remnants of Tropical Storm Don, but don't bank me on that. So yeah, as we head into this coming week, it's much the same as it has been, unfortunately. So you have to hot, dry weather. You have to wait a bit longer, unfortunately. So let's have a look at the UKV actually, and see what this rainfall does over the next 12 hours or so. So there's that current rainfall across northern areas. In the next 12 hours or so, we'll start to see that rain move towards the southeast. Some heavier bursts still embedded into that. So it clears through by 7 o'clock tomorrow. I was like, it's just affecting perhaps Northamptonshire down through to the Bristol area. Perhaps even Western-super-Mare there, still showing a bit of heavy rain there. So it seems like the rain's turned narrow, but still could be some heavier burst among that. And that, as it weakens, as it moves further southeast, it could perhaps give a few potentially thundery showers or downpours as it clears the southeast as we head into lunchtime. And for much of the UK tomorrow, it's mostly dry, but the odd few scattered showers can't be ruled out. So more confined perhaps to the northwest of Scotland, but as we can see, there's a few showing across northern areas and perhaps into the North Midlands there. So mostly a dry day, so with the risk of some isolated showers. As we go forward into Tuesday, and it's the risk again of showing some showers developing during the afternoon. Some of these on this current run, these are more likely to be heavy, possibly thundery towards northeastern areas. A few coming into the East Midlands there and into southeastern areas. So something to keep an eye on for this week before more persistent band of rain starts to come through late on Wednesday and into Thursday. So that's not shown as extensive as the facts chart was showing. So there could be still uncertainty before the end of the week. So we'll keep an eye on. So let's have a look at the latest GFS and see what that is showing. So let's have a look at the sea level pressure charts. Let's extend this through to next weekend. So this is the latest sea level pressure charts, and that is Tropical Storm Don, who is probably due to weaken probably in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's have a quick look, see what's happening with Don. Yeah, Don's currently maximum sustained winds of 65 miles an hour, but in the next 12 hours or so, it will start to transition into an extratropical storm and weaken into a tropical depression by the end of tomorrow. So we might see that happening on this run. So this is that low pressure that's sat over us right now, ridge of high pressure sat towards our west. And that's what's left of Don by the time we get to midnight on Tuesday. And if I look at the energy that's left from Don, then actually does spin up an area of low pressure. So we start to see that spawn up an area of low pressure towards north of Don there. So yeah, so it's like the energy that's left of Don spawns up this area of low pressure towards the west, and it's also like a repeat performance of what's been happening the last couple of weekends. We're going to get an area of low pressure coming in for the weekend, perhaps with some strong winds at times. But obviously, this is subject to change. And looking into Monday the 31st, with that other low coming in there, it's not looking too nice at all. Not exactly what you want to see there for the end of August. And end of July. I had to double back on myself then. I'm about a month ahead of myself. So that's not a very nice chart there for the end of July. Potential there for some strong winds and no doubt more heavy rain. High pressure is trying to ridge in there from the west, but it's not quite making it. And it's just low pressure fully in charge towards north of the UK. Perhaps drier and probably warmer more towards the south. I'll have a look at the upper airs in just a moment. Now, high pressure does try to ridge in again. It is trying to attempt, but just keeps getting pushed out of the way with these low pressures coming in off the Atlantic. But looking at the end of that run there, it looks like we've got perhaps a thundery low coming up from the south. So we'll have a look at the chart on that. That'll bring some possible thunderstorms coming up from the south there. At the end of the run, maybe some heat. But that's in the more unreliable time frame. Let's have a look at the upper airs. So as we see, we're in the yellows, which is cooler air. We've just got the plus 10 isotherm just sat just off the southeast coast. So that'll bring that. If that would have come in properly, that would have brought temperatures probably into the mid-20s for perhaps southeastern areas. But in the next 12-24 hours, we're actually bring down the plus 5 isotherm, so it's going to remain quite cool, to be honest, before the next area of low pressure comes in with all that warm sector. So if I just go back there and have a look at Don. So there's Don just there. And what's going to happen in the next 12 hours or so, will start to lose its characteristics. And more die death. I think it actually dies a death as it comes into this high pressure here, but its energy will then seems to get transferred towards the north. And as I've shown, starts to develop an area of low pressure towards its north. So the energy that's left of Don just create this area of low pressure just up here. So if you want any hot air, all that, it's still sat across the Mediterranean. So if you read a newspaper saying, oh, hot air is going to return this by such a date, please ignore it. It's just a load of bull. Because as we can see at the moment, it's just under relatively cool air, even into next weekend. So there's still perhaps a bit of uncertainty there. It says it all depends what the energy from Don, how it creates that area of low pressure. So there's that other low that's scooting across the south there for potentially next Monday. That'll bring in cooler after when that clears through. And that towards the end of this run, this was suggesting that thunder alert perhaps coming up from the south. So you've got that heat building up towards Iberia there, coming into northern Spain. Does that migrate further north with that potential heat low? So we begin to bring up the plus 20 degree isotherm towards Normandy by the time we get towards in this run. Does that bring it right into the southeast? It does. So potentially they've got the plus 20 degree isotherm. If we just have a look at the temperatures, that could bring temperatures possibly up into the 30s. But with all that instability, we could see some big thunderstorms for that. But as I mentioned, it's right at the end of the run. If this was showing perhaps in a couple of days' time, me and our team will be very excited because we'll be finally coming out of this cool, boring, rainy weather. Let's have a look at the Cape Unlifted charts for us to have a look for the whole run, really, because I bet they'll be sky high by the time we get to the end of the run with that potentially thunder low. So, next 24 hours, absolutely nothing to write home about at all. No Cape Unlifted to speak of. And Wednesday as well, nothing. And potentially Thursday, something we need to keep an eye on, perhaps for northern areas. And Friday, I've not seen anything significant there. Maybe a little bit there for Saturday. But obviously, being this far ahead, it's subject to change. Let's run that through to the end of that run when we get that potential Spanish plume. I bet it's going to start to light up from the south. I see these colours coming up. So we start to see even that actually not showing much Cape at all for the end of the run. So let's have a look at these disappointing temperatures, which if you have the heat, you'll be very disappointed to see. So let's go through to tomorrow. So temperatures are quite disappointing really for the end of July, temperatures looking around about 17 degrees and maybe squeeze out a 20 somewhere towards the south. Up towards Scotland, we're looking at 10 to 13, 14 degrees for Northern England. Looking around about 13 to 17 degrees, and elsewhere, more like the high teens, 17 to possible 20 down in the far southeast. Then Tuesday, we looking at high teens, maybe with the low 20s down towards the southeast. Some more surface temperatures. Then potentially Wednesday, when we've got that rain coming in from the west again. If you're stuck underneath that rain band, we're looking at temperatures around about 13 to 16 degrees. And where you got the sunshine towards eastern areas, we could see temperatures up to 23 degrees. Thursday, again, this will be dependent on cloud amounts. And these were expecting some possible heavy showers to break out in northern England on Thursday. Temperature up there could be up into the low 20s. Elsewhere, looking at the high teens. The heat is still kept at bay down towards France. So temperature up there is 31, but won't be seeing any of that at all. As the low pressure starts to, again, moving from the west. Again, these are still showing temperatures up into the low 20s towards eastern areas. Even up into northern England, temperature into the high teens. And the same again for Saturday, but as we're going to the more unreliable time frame, these are subject to change, and that potential band of rain on Sunday, temperatures struggling to get much above 14, 15 degrees for much of northern England through into central western areas. Start of August, still looking at high teens, low 20s. Then towards the end of that run here, we'd start seeing that possible southerly push, Spanish plume. You can see temperatures getting to 37, 38 degrees nearby France. How much of that heat do we tap into if it was to come out? Let's have a look. So it's still sitting there towards the south, and this is around about the time frame where we start to see that southerly push. So temperatures widely into mid to high 20s. We're looking at 31, 32 maybe for southeastern areas. And we're seeing 42, 43 degrees appearing towards nearby France. But don't worry, on this run doesn't show anything like that coming into the UK. If that comes off, I think a lot of people will be happy to see some temperatures rising. But as I mentioned, that's potentially bringing up some hot, thundery air. So the precipitation for that. Oops, daisy. See if that does bring up some thunder rain from the south at the end of this run. So yes, potential there for some thundery rain, that Spanish plume. But we're clutching at straws here because me and our team are just bored of this boring, cool, northwesterly weather. If it was going to be wetter, we'd rather have it be like thundery or something, so the team can be out there chasing. The next thing we'll have a look at is the ensembles, and I think we'll leave it as that tonight. And I can't find what I'm looking for. There we go. So we've got the 2 metre temperatures. I'm just going to put that to West Midlands for now, then move towards the southeast. So this is from the ECMWF, so we'll have a look at the trend, see if there's any warming or cooling. This is between now and the 7th of August. So these are your 2 metre temperatures, so your surface temperatures. So today has been up to around about perhaps 21, 22 degrees. Let's get off the screen there. Then as it turns cooler the next few days, temperatures will be just perhaps hitting just the high teens. Showing a bit of a cool night there coming into the 26. So temperature could go down to single figures. Then temperatures do pick up again towards the end of the week into the weekend. Perhaps looking maybe 20, 21 degrees for the West Midlands there. Then perhaps cooling down a slightly touch. But as we're heading towards the end of the month, there's a few signals there of temperatures getting possibly into the mid-20s there. As always, when you go into the longer time frame, the higher the uncertainty. The sea level pressure charts, this will show if there's any highs or lows, and it's a bit of a mess really after the next few days. Pressure rises slightly with that ridge of high pressure. Then as we head into the weekend, it drops again, ready for the weekend, like for the 3rd consecutive weekend, that is. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm just going to put the mic on mute because my cats are trying to escape. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. My cat was trying to escape out of the garden. Let's go back to the high resolution ensembles from the ECMWF. So the pressure charts, this shows us the area of low pressure coming in towards the end of the week. And as we head to the start of August, there seems to be a lot scattered there, quite of uncertainty. Some showing some low pressures coming in towards the first week of August. And some try to build up pressure up to perhaps good 1,025 to 30. So there's really a lot of uncertainty there as we're heading towards the first week of August. Let's have a good 850, the upper airs. So quite cold actually. Quite cold really for the middle of summer there. The upper airs perhaps going to around about +5. Then we get that build up with perhaps that remnant of tropical storm Dawn for the weekend. Then there's a bit of a dip again as we head into next weekend, whether that next low comes over. And we're seeing again a lot of scatter there with the upper airs going from perhaps 1 going to about +3 degrees there. At the same time, we've got some going to +18. There's even a +20 there. So that could bring temperatures up into the upper 20s at the surface. And for the precipitation for the West Midlands between now and then, this is showing that air of rain coming through overnight. Cleared off there at the start. Then also more rain towards the end of the week. That'll bring perhaps some areas up to around about 30 to 50 millimetres. And there's even a hint there, maybe potential that Spanish plume maybe coming up. That's got 110 millimetres there between now and the 7th of August. If I bring that forward, sorry, not bring it forward. If I bring that somewhere like Lancashire, I say Yorkshire actually, because there a lot of rain day. And I can't even see Yorkshire on there, unless it's... Let's try South Yorkshire, there we go. So there's that rainfall that's been happening today. Some areas around there could see 20 to 50 millimetres there, and that's a bit more rain as we head into the weekend. And some of these are topping out at 130 at the extreme one, and more averaging around about 50 to 90 millimetres of rain before the 7th of August. And let's have a look towards the London area. Also have a look at Kent, in fact. Is that going to be the same for down south as well? Not much rain shown on there. There's that spell of rain coming through overnight, which could give some places up to about 50 millimetres of rain. And there's a range there from around about 20 to 70 millimetres of rain for southern areas. Let's have a look at the 2 metre temperatures. Let's have a look at London for that 2 metre temperature, see if anything's shown there for the southeast of any heat. And again, today's been around about 22, 23 degrees, and there's that cooling trend for the next couple of days as winds switch to like a northwest to northerly the next couple of days. We have an upwards trend as we get into midweek. Then a bit of scatter there as we head towards the 3rd of August. Some temperatures are going above 30, trying to push towards 30. And there are some keeping it to around about 18 to 20. So again, it's a bit of uncertainty. So look at the upper air temperatures. If there's that shiny kind of perhaps some Spanish plume. Again, there's 1 or 2 hints there. The upper airs there could get to around about 22 degrees. So it's a possible hint in there with the GFS and the ECM actually of maybe something towards middle of the first week of August, but not set in stone as yet. As we can see, there's a hell of a lot of scatter from about 22 degrees down to about 4 degrees at the upper air temperatures. So still, first week of August, still a lot to play for. I think we've already seen that summer there for down towards the southeast. Again, the start there's that rainfall due overnight. What's that going? Potential for more rain next weekend and a bit of scatter there towards the end of the month. End of the month actually, yeah, July into start of August. So it's not looking great at the minute if you're really after any prolonged sunshine or warm weather. I think there's a few hints there that we might try to tap into some warmer, I'll say very warm, humid air towards the first week of August. But we're keeping an open mind on that. But we'll be on this weather pattern now for a good 4 to 5 weeks, and these can't stay in this pattern forever. Normally, like a pattern like this will probably stick for around about 6 weeks or so. So hopefully we'll come towards the end of this cool weather. But at the minute, we're not seeing anything solid set in stone or anything dry coming at this stage. So if you're enjoying this cool wet weather, then it's all for you, really. But if you want some hot, sunny weather, you might have to wait a bit longer yet. So nothing significant showing on the charts as yet. But if anything does come up, no doubt me and the team will be jumping up and down in happiness to get some weather happening instead of this boring band of rain that we've got at the moment across northern areas. So we don't mind if it was like wet and thundery, but when it's just a band of the rain, it's like, lovely. So let's stop the sharing on there. Let's get myself back on the screen there. That's all for me tonight. No doubt Paul will be post up in the morning for the latest. Overnight tonight, we've got that rain clearing towards the southeast, and dry day tomorrow with a few showers, and perhaps 1 or 2 showers around on Tuesday before more wet weather due to come through from about midweek onwards. But I think timings that we need to keep an eye on for that. I'm going to stop dribbling on. I'll be back on Thursday let's have a look at the day actually. Thursday the 3rd. Because I'm away at the end of the week. And Paul probably highly likely to be doing a live on Thursday and possible Sunday as well, but keeping out for further posts on that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.